Hello, my name is Carla, and I'm here to talk about taking a turn in Stellar Leap. We're going to go through this cheat sheet because the cheat sheet tells you everything you need to know about taking a turn. The first thing you do is you recover your exhausted population. So an exhausted population is in a different section of the planet, and you put it back into the habitat. That population can now gather resources and take any actions once again. The next step is to roll 2 dice. In this case, I rolled a 2, a 3, and the sum of them is 5. The 5 is good for me, and the 3 is good for me. But if I wanted to make the 4 happen, I really want the 4 column to happen because I'm here, maybe, I have a choice to make now. I can use the community dice ability, which is discard 1 die to change the other die to the value of your choice. Or I can use this player dice ability that I have, which is can flip or re-roll a die. And I can do either action a second time. So if I really wanted the 4 to happen, I would know that, when I flip a 3, I get a 4. So in this case, I decided to do a 2, which benefits no one, a 4, which benefits everyone, and a 6, which benefits yellow only. In this case, purple's home planet generates resources, and purple benefits. Wonder generates resources, but only yellow gets to gather the resources because they're in the habitat. Purple is exhausted, so it can't gather any resources here. And then teal, which is me, and yellow both gather resources on this final planet. So that's how dice abilities and planets generating resources work. The next part is to go into the action phase. This action phase includes movement, high command actions, and divisions. These can be done in any order that you want them to be. So at the beginning of my action phase, I'm going to put my action track down so none of it is exhausted. You can use your action tracker if you want. Otherwise, you don't have to. So let's talk about movement first. Movement depends on the threat level of the planet that you're going to and the number of solar systems away it is and the number of people you're moving. So if I wanted to move these 2 people to Wonder has a threat level of 1, and it's 1 solar system away, or row. Every row is a new solar system. So, in this case, it would be 1 plus 1, which is 2 fuel, and 2 oxygen to move 2 people. So I would move those down, and I can move. However, if I wanted to move just 1 person to Perplexity has a threat level of 1, but it's 2 solar systems away, so that would be 1 plus 2, which is 3 fuel, and 1 oxygen to move there. So since I'm not moving at all, I don't expend any resources. But that's how that would work. Next, let's talk about the high command actions. You can do any of these actions, and you can do up to 2 of them. The first high command action is populate. To populate, I need 2 food and 1 water. So I'm going to choose to populate. I put down 2 food and 1 water, and I am going to populate at this location. I can choose any planet that I already have a population at. You can't choose to just appear. That's not how population works in this galaxy. So I've chosen populate. I have my person there. And the next high command action is tax. For tax, if I wanted to do that, I could gain 2 resources of choice. So if I wanted to gain 2 water, I would just put it up. I would say I taxed and gained 2 water. The next high command action is discover. With discover, you take 2 cards from the safe, dangerous, or a combination of the decks. So I want to be only slightly dangerous. I'm going to take 1 safe and 1 dangerous. When I look at these, I'll decide on one of them. I'll go with the dangerous one, and I'm going to place it here. I have a choice of placing it in any of the 6 locations. The 6 locations being the top column, or the top of each column. So I could place it here, or the first solar system. So I'm going to go here because I love 4s. This planet that I didn't choose goes to the bottom of the deck. And I place a chit, so you know that I discovered this asteroid. Since it's an asteroid, I'm going to put a die with a face of 3 on it. All asteroids are discovered with 3 as the die face. And that is discovering a planet. The last high command action is attack. So, with attack, you just have to have more population on a planet than all the other players. For instance, I could just naturally attack caution because I have 3 meeples here while purple has 1. I don't have to move, I can just declare I'm attacking purple on caution. In this case, purple would then have to scatter. This means that they get to go to a planet in the same solar system, if they can, which the only planet in the solar system they can go to is their home world. These 3 are all home planets, and you can't visit anyone else's home planet. So they're also pretty exhausted because they fled from an attack, so they go into the exhausted section. In that case, purple would then give me a chit in their color, like so. This is yellow though. And that's how you would know that I won the attack. At the end of the game, you get bonuses for how many attacks that you've won. So, if I wanted to attack again, say that I only did that 1 attack this turn, the best place for me to attack would probably be Wander, this planet. I would have to pay the movement cost, which is 2 fuel and 3 oxygen, but then I could attack here. It's best because there's 2 different colors there. When I attack, I get a chit from yellow and 1 from purple. That would mean that on my turn, I would have 3 successful attacks instead of just 2. So, in this case, they both have to scatter to ambition. You can't live on an asteroid. So they both go here, and they're exhausted. So, to recap, there's 4 high command actions, and you can choose to do 2 of them, and they can be the same one. So next is divisions. The divisions are fairly exciting. The first one is the intelligence division. This allows you to do 1 mission. So each of these missions has a requirement. This one, for instance, has 2 water, 1 fuel, and 1 food. I could do this one. So if I did this, I would take away those resources, and then I would get to gain 2 oxygen. I would then set the card to the side of my player board, because at the end of the game, it gives me 2 prestige. The prestige value is in the corner. After I take this one, another mission is revealed. So these are the tier 1 missions, and you should keep them separate from the tier 2 missions. When all the tier 1 missions have been completed, an event occurs. We'll talk about events at the end of this. So, that's your intelligence division. Now let's talk about your mining division. So in your mining division, you get to mine asteroids. There's 2 asteroids currently out. One has a 3 face and one has a 2. If I wanted to get more resources, I would go to the one with the 3, because the 3 means that you would roll 3 dice. So if I wanted to go there, I would choose probably the one that's closest, and I would use typical movement rules. So I would have to have 4 fuel and 1 oxygen to go there, and then I'd roll 3 dice. In this case, the dice 6, 1, and 2 equal 9, and then this asteroid has 4 plus the dice. So I would get 13 food, and then I get to return to the planet I was at, which is there. The return trip is free. Since I mined it, the dice value would go down by 1. If the dice value on there is 1, then the dice is removed. You can still mine an asteroid that doesn't have any dice value on it, but you don't get any additional dice to roll. And that is your mining division. The last division is the labor division. You can force your population to work, but then they get exhausted. So your home planets get 1 resources of choice for working your labor division there, but each other planet is different. For instance, Wonder, I would have to use my labor division here, but I would get 2 food. So I would say I'm using my labor division. I would get 2 more food, but then that guy can't do anything else until my next turn. If instead of laboring there, I labored here, I would get 2 oxygen, but if an opponent rolled a 4 on their turn, this guy wouldn't get to generate or gather the generate resources. So you have to make that choice. Do you really need the resources now, or don't you? But if you use your labor division on a planet that has more of your population in the habitat, as long as you have someone in the habitat, you can still gather the generated resources. So that's the action phase. So during your turn, certain things can happen that trigger events. Events can be triggered in a variety of ways. The first is if all the planets are in a solar system. So for instance, someone discovered a planet and put another planet here. This solar system would have 6 planets in it, and an event would trigger. An event also triggers when all species reach 3, 6, or 9 population. When the 3rd, the 6th, or the 9th asteroid is discovered, a tier of missions is completed. So, for the tier of missions, if you choose to just keep doing missions and then the tier 2 come out, you can choose to keep doing the tier 2 missions instead of this last tier 1 mission. The last mission has to be completed before the event happens. It doesn't matter what missions are being brought out. So, that's that event. There's also if any planet deck is depleted. So events. What happens? If it happens in the middle of your turn, you draw a card, you place it to the side, you read its effects. The effects could be instant, it could be lasting, it could mean that everyone does a special thing. These are things that could change the game, could change how things work, could give you more high command actions. They just change the game. If they're better for anyone, they're better for the person who triggered the event. So, in your first game, it's generally advised to only play until the 4th event happens. Everyone takes the same number of turns and the game ends. In the regular game, just play till 6 events happen. And that is how a turn goes in Stellar Leap. Thanks for watching.